Hey folks, Ralph with Stray Lenses. Got another episode of You Can't Make This Up. 2 days after I put a new fuel pump relay in, car ran beautiful, and all of a sudden it started to start harder and harder upon cold start, and then it wouldn't start at all anymore. I'm like, all right, what the heck? If you remember this, the previous episodes were all about finding out, hey, is it ignition? Is it this? Is it that? Is it the EHA? All kinds of other things. And this is one of those cases where you need to go back to the basics. So what happened was, no start. It's like I've messed around with the fuel system. Maybe it's the fuel system. Maybe it isn't. Observe. So I tried starting the darn thing and it wouldn't go. I put a little bit of like starting fluid into the intake. That didn't go anywhere. So, oh my goodness, what might be the problem? So I took out the spark plugs, and lo and behold, they were all wet. This is dried up now, but they were all wet. So it's like, so I have enough fuel. Maybe I have too much fuel, but I then said, it's like, hey, previously I had verified that I had ignition, and well, let's see what it does when I put the ignition back on. Here's an old-fashioned strobe light that I am deployed here on this one just to make sure that I have a good spark going to the distributor here. So what I did is I put the clamp on that going to the distributor. Here's my strobe light, and let's see what happens when I start it. I am using this starter so I can actually mess around here in the engine bay when I'm not in the car, so I don't have to go back and forth in and out. So I have ignition on, and this little starter button, I can remote start this thing now. There's another video that I made if you're interested to make something like that yourself. But let's see what the strobe light does when I start now. This should flash like crazy because this is going straight to the distributor. So cool. Got that. All right. Now I'm going to put this on the one cylinder that I have a spark plug in, and I'll show you later what kind of a spark plug I've got in there. And let's see what this does. See that it is missing occasionally here and there. Now, of course, not all that much. Well, there's another miss. So it's like, why on earth am I missing this? And I took the distributor cap off, and lo and behold, that is quite worn. And I'm going to change this out just to verify that I'm not completely off my rocker here with the ignition, because there's just something not right here. So I take the distributor off. Right. No. might be able to see it. I'm going to show it to you in a moment once I have put the new rotor in and the cap. All right, new cap. Can't really go wrong because of this. Even has the markings on here. That's the number 1, and that's usually in the 11 o'clock position. So that one goes back here. All right. There we go. That way. Number 1 over there. And new screws. And once I have the screws in, I'm going to show you too how to make sure that your leads are in the right spot. And once that's there, we'll give it another start. Just to show you real quick, here's the new cap, and then it has all the cylinder descriptions, or the inscription of every cylinder, and this cover here does have the same thing. And so now we can go ahead and put that on here, mount this to the distributor, and then we'll place the cables. So here, the diagram of distributor and the cylinder banks. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then here the other side. So number 1 goes here, number 5 goes here, 4. You get the idea. That's the sequence. So I'm now following each lead, and I'm going to plug in my leads into the right spot here, making sure that I eventually end up with the wires in one place where the dust cover and water cover goes over top of them without interference. So I'll be right back. All right, so I verified that the wires are going. That's the center one here, starting with number 1, 5, number 4, number 8, number 6, number 3, 7, and 2, and the main one. And what I was saying is, see these 2 slots here, and make sure that they actually fit right over there. So once I have, there you go. Now that I know that it fits, I can push in the ignition wires all the way, and then we're gonna give it a whirl. Last night it was a little dark to film and to do anything, but I got all the plugs back in the right spot, collected everything right here and right here, so the cover that goes on top will fit over the wires. One little tip here, make absolutely sure that these are on here tight. The problem is that they appear tight, but they might not be, and that is because this rubber here stops the plug from going all the way down, when in fact this hasn't clicked. Make sure this clicks. This one right here is on there. See, most of it looks like they're tight, but in fact, see, they're not. There you go. Hear the click. So that's that. Now we can put the cover on. Tight, good. And now, if this was really the root cause, this should be should have been the issue. Let's see if it starts. 1, 2, 3. There we go. That's what the problem was. Awesome. Let's see. No more misses. So, awesome. Woo! So while that warms up, so I'll adjust the mixture to make sure that that is okay, but it runs beautiful. It has not run this smooth in forever, and shockingly, well, I found the reason why on earth the car wouldn't start anymore. So hold on for that. I should have known better. See, the cap on the inside doesn't look so hot, and there's a lot of like kind of like schmutz in here that I didn't necessarily know what that was all about. But once I had the dust cover off and the black cover that goes over top here, look at that. So this piece of joy here had a short coming straight from the center contact, and that's where it went to ground. And that's very tough to pick up, because if you, and I did this with a multimeter, I measured continuity on all of these and see if any of these had like a ground fault. None of them did, and that is why high tension, high voltage components are so difficult to diagnose, because they will act normally unless you finally put high tension on there, and then creepy voltage just goes wherever and not where it needs to be. And this is why this siren-off gun no longer worked. So that's going to go to the trash, and that's that. My car finally starts, runs nice, and I will adjust the mixture in a moment, and we'll be back on the road. What's the point of this story is that in previous episodes I've already harped on the whole fact that if you think it's one thing that makes the darn thing not run or run nasty, well, it might be a symptom of something else. So what appears to have happened here is that, yes, while the fuel pump relay initially was the fault, it was confirmed that that thing was dead. It made it run. A side issue was the EHA was leaking. I adjusted that and fixed that leak. Great, and nothing else wrong with it. And while I messed around with the distributor and taking it off, what I appear to have set off is a cascading effect where the already bad contact got jostled and now was definitely going to act up. So had I stuck with messing around with changing out the fuel distributor or ripping out other parts that I had already messed with, I would have just made it worse, and I would have never found what the problem was. So my recommendation is start out with doing one thing at a time and ask, why in the world is that happening? And then spread out, and it's like, is it ignition? Is it fuel? And fuel, what could it be? Go down that bunny trail and nail down what it is and what it isn't, and then leave things alone. Because if something did work for you before, don't ask too many questions. Go back to the basics, like I did here. I went back and said, it's like, hey, how in the world is this thing not running? And by me removing the spark plugs and getting them out of there, and they're all wet, way too much fuel. And then I went back to confirming, yes, I have voltage on the coil, on the ignition coil. I have the impulse, the high voltage coming in on the main lead, and then nothing, or intermittent on all the other cylinders. on this, on the firing, on the wires, the ignition wires on the other ones. That was the only way of how I was able to identify what the problem was. So, good luck. If you have any questions, go ahead and put them in the comment section. Otherwise, keep the good old cars on the road. Good luck.